Gianni Infantino's building up to the Club World Cup in the United States this summer, just over a month to go now. So many questions about just what impact it will have on the global footballing calendar, concerns about the workload on players raised by the players' unions, and now by the English Football Association.
Yeah, interesting this. The annual report of the Football Association came out this week, and there's a section called Principal Risks and Uncertainties, and it cites the Club World Cup as a significant risk. It says that under fixture congestion and player welfare, that there's a significant challenge each season to balance the development of the global competition calendar with the imperative of protecting player welfare. The task is complicated by the ambitions of competition owners to expand their events within an already crowded schedule, the ongoing discussions regarding future structural changes to the game, such as the introduction of new tournaments, e.g. the FIFA Club World Cup, further intensify this challenge.
Some self-interest there because, of course, there's an impact on the Community Shield, which starts about 4 weeks after the Club World Cup final. And that Club World Cup final could feature Manchester City, who are now in the FA Cup final. And so they would be in the Community Shield if they win the FA Cup.
Yeah, probably a degree of that as well. And perhaps pressure on existing tournaments. You mentioned the FA Cup. It's already had changes, hasn't it? That we've got rid of replays, I think, in the FA Cup. And perhaps there's going to be pressure on domestic competitions. But it's also, I think it screams to me a lack of a role in the conversation. The FIFA and others, they seem to just announce events. And there's so many, and once the ripple effects of those events are felt everywhere. Here you see it from the FA, but I just think it's the lack of consultation often. People are feeling that they need to and want to be involved in this.
Yeah, and UEFA's new European competition formats, which has started this season, and that's a significant increase in matches for a start. So not only are there 2 extra group games compared to last season, there's also these playoff rounds for the teams that finish in positions 9 to 24. Everywhere you look, competition organisers are trying to expand. And the Club World Cup is another one. I mean, I think everybody thinks that it's more than full already. So you can see why they're perhaps talking about player welfare, because if player welfare is affected, it could damage the income, isn't it? That's basically what the principal risks and uncertainties is all about, is how the FA's income could be damaged. And they're saying if the well-being and recovery of players is affected, then that could affect their income.
Yeah, we're talking about stars here as well, if you're talking about income. So that's what FIFA would say, and those who are saying it's only a smattering of the very, very best players who have too much football as a result of this. And that argument, significant risk point, is also the same one that is part of the legal claim, if you remember, that's being bought by FIFA Pro and the leagues, that is going to rumble through for perhaps a couple of years against FIFA, or there'll be a settlement there. But I think it's all about getting around the table.
You talk about some players not having that congested calendar like others. But for instance, this weekend, we've got the final weekends of some of the lower leagues in England. So this is the start of May. Their seasons won't resume for another 3 months almost. So that's a pretty long time for them being out of the game. But obviously at the top level, these summers with very little break. And I suppose we do hear from FIFA, while there are complaints from England about the Club World Cup, the Premier League have their summer series, which is taking place from July the 26th to August the 3rd. You've got Manchester United, Everton, West Ham, Bournemouth taking part in this edition. Although, of course, there is less at stake. There's something hugely at stake with the Club World Cup now to get through to the final, because you can bank, what is it?
$125 million from winning the Club World Cup. And you're talking about star power. One player who might be available now because his team is not going to be there is Ronaldo. And this is the first Club World Cup, and it's got that special transfer window. So that's another thing to be looking for the next few weeks. Clubs can literally sign players for a couple of weeks for the tournament in particular. Now, if we're thinking about the players, it'll be interesting if a player who says, sorry, no, I feel tired and I want a rest. Or those who say, yeah, I'm happy to be transferred for a couple of weeks to play in this tournament. So that's another interesting thing to look.
Interestingly, this week, both Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr and Lionel Messi's Inter Miami were knocked out in the semi-finals of their continental competition. So the Asian Champions League for Ronaldo and the CONCACAF Champions Cup in North America